Three facts about investing in short-term rentals. Hey guys, it's Philip, and short-term rentals is commonly known as a vacation rental, which is basically an establishment or a house that provides fully furnished, sometimes provides meals, and can also provide other services for tourists and travelers alike. It's a popular alternative to a hotel, and it gives you the space that you need for a short period of time for leisure and other practical purposes. A lot of times our guests are just in town for work in the local chemical plants and things like that, and they might be here temporarily for a job and all of those kinds of things. So others may want to take, have a couple of weeks, and some even, could rent out the space for a few months. It's been a common thing that we've seen in some of our short-term rentals as well. In addition, many people who have a second home or a property that they often use for vacation, sometimes they're willing to let somebody else rent it so they can generate income, especially while they're away and they're not using the property. It's a great way to have additional income instead of just letting your house sit there and collect dust and cobwebs and things like that. So why not let other people use it while you're not using it to generate some extra income to cover your holding costs and help you make additions, renovations, and keep the house in tip-top shape. So to know more about this excellent investment opportunity that I'm so excited about, let's talk about some of the facts about investing in the short-term rentals and other things that you should know. Okay. So short-term rentals are more than just vacation homes. A lot of people, when they think about Airbnb or VRBO, they think about vacation homes and vacation rentals. One of the reasons that most people stay in a short-term rental is to have some time and space for themselves or to have an exciting vacation. However, short-term rentals are more than just a vacation home. In fact, you can let people rent your space who wants to have a simple one-day staycation, for example, or a couple that wants to have a one-night getaway, or individuals who just need quality time for themselves. So in addition, you can also cater to those kind of people that have a particular health condition, and maybe they need treatment or an operation at a nearby hospital or a clinic that's near your property. So then you could let them rent your space out for a period of time while they're, being an outpatient and going back and forth for recuperation. And sometimes they just like to have a space near the location where they're getting treatment. And so we've experienced that with some of our guests as well. A lot of times there's some homeowners who are currently renovating their house. So we get a lot of people that are in having some updates and renovations done to their house. Maybe they've had an insurance claim or a fire or a flood, different things that cause you to have to do renovations on your home, and they want a quiet place to stay while their house is getting repaired. We've had that several times in some of our properties. Sometimes they might be in between properties. So they've sold their house and the house that they're moving into isn't ready yet, or the house, they're still waiting for it to be built, or they're waiting on the seller to move out. So a lot of times we've had guests come that stay, and it's been kind of frightening. I have to admit, when a guest told me that, hey, we're going to be there, but we have a U-Haul. And I hope it's okay for us to have a U-Haul truck in the driveway. And the first thing that came to my mind was like, oh my gosh, hopefully they're not, taking all of our furniture and U-Hauling that off. And that's just kind of like a cover that they're using. But anyway, that was definitely not the case. And we're happy to report back that, all of our furniture was still there. But sometimes people come, like I said, when they're in between houses. And these people are some of those that are looking for a place for more than just a vacation, but a space where they can stay for various other reasons as well. So owning short-term rentals is a very active investment. A lot of people talk about getting into real estate to become passive investors and to have passive income, and all of those things are great. And I do want to caution you that when you're setting up a home as a short-term rental, you're taking what's traditionally been a long-term rental property where you put a renter in there and basically forget about them unless they haven't paid you rent. And you're taking this little house that you had and turning it into a hotel. And it is a very active business. Many people believe that investing in short-term rentals will give you that passive income. The fact is that it doesn't give you passive income instantly, but it will give you passive income over time. And I'll explain how. But it really requires a lot of work. So much of your attention and time answering guests' questions, cleaning the houses in between your guests, doing the turnovers and making sure that the house is ready for the next guest as well. And then handling little maintenance issues that might come up. Again, you're having a fully furnished accommodation for your guests. So you've got the utilities, the internet, you've got the everything, the lawn service, pest control, all of these things. So it becomes a very active business until you automate and systematize all of that. Or you could also hire a property management company to handle all of that for you. So a lot of people, they'll start off, kind of like doing it themselves and having this be their little side hustle. But then eventually, as you grow and maybe get to 3 to 5 properties, then hiring a management company and systemizing things and setting it up more. So when at that point, it can definitely become a more steady passive income for you. But up in the beginning, it's going to be very, very active. Another thing to consider is the location, and make sure that it's a great location for short-term rentals. If you plan to buy a particular property and make it a short-term rental for tourists and travelers, then you want to pick a vacation destination. So you should consider that location and make sure that you purchase one that's near, entertainment or near the city. And all of those kind of things that makes it a very attractive place for people to want to come stay. And make sure you choose a perfect location for your short-term rental. So buy a property that's in a particular location where there's a high demand for travelers and tourists, okay? It includes having easy access to the nearby attractions, restaurants, shopping malls, public transportation, beaches, lakes, and many other things like that. And make sure, like downtown areas, a lot of people like walkable Airbnbs where they can walk to the restaurants, walk to some entertainment, and or a short Uber ride away. But another thing to consider in choosing your location for the short-term rental is, knowing the existing local economy. And you might want to investigate that yourself or find a property that's in a marketable area and check in the industry and make sure that the industry is in a growing industry for the past few years. And doing so will give you an idea that the property is, what you plan on doing with it and has a higher chance of success. It's also important to know the cost of living in the location where you plan to purchase your property, since you surely want more than just to break even on your short-term rental. We're definitely doing this to make a higher income than break even. And you want to make sure that you're in a good location for that. You have to know how much it'll cost you as well for the property, to purchase the property or rent the property, to make sure that you're going to make money above and beyond that. So also consider the utility costs again, property taxes, insurance, fees, different things like that. Another thing I love to do, and I tell people all the time, first, I'm a real estate investor. So I'm looking for properties that are off market. I'm looking for properties that I can buy below market value, that I can renovate and bring it up to the full potential market value. And the other thing I want to make sure is that a long-term rental could also support this property. I don't want to buy my property based on the fact that, hey, I'm going to make all this money on Airbnb as a short-term rental. I want to also be sure that it's a profitable investment if I have to pivot to a long-term rental. If for some reason the short-term rental in the area is not doing great, or if for some reason the HOA says you can't do short-term rentals here, or if some reason the city ordinances put a stop to short-term rentals, I want to make sure that the investment's a sound investment first. I'm a real estate investor first. And I love taking the opportunity to make more money and make more income from doing a short-term rental with Airbnb. However, I want to caution you to make sure that this house can also support a long-term rental if you have to pivot. Okay, so basically keep that in mind. And if you need help evaluating those things, let me know. But the thing with the short-term rentals and vacation destinations, those are traditionally vacation destinations. So there's things in place to help us as short-term rental operators. But when you're doing houses like me, houses in the suburbs that are just your normal homes that you would think are more catered to long-term rentals, then you want to really make sure that the HOA and the city doesn't have ordinances against you doing the short-term rental. And you want to also be a good operator as well, making sure that there's no parties and, young people and people tearing things up and causing the neighbors to be uncomfortable knowing what's going on there. And so I like to do the houses in the suburbs. I like to do this as my strategy for buying houses, fixing them up, furnishing them, putting them on Airbnb, and then holding it for a year and making the decision after I've owned that property for a year. Hey, is this a home run short-term rental? Is it doing really good? Or is this just kind of like a subpar? Is it a good time to go ahead and sell that property? So instead of buy a house, fix it, and flip it in 3 to 6 months, I like to buy the house, furnish it, rent it out for about a year, and then decide, do I want to flip it and move the profits to the next deal? Or is the monthly cash flow big enough for me to continue running it as a short-term rental business? And so it's my idea and my desire to create a pipeline of houses to where we're constantly moving properties. We're buying them, fixing them, renting them for a year. And imagine this, if you had purchased one property per month or one property per quarter, and 12 months from now, you've decided, hey, let's sell this property. And 12 months from now, you're selling one property per month or one property per quarter, however often you've bought one. And now you're getting that big payday, that big paycheck from doing that flip. And a year from now, not only did you make money along the way and make a great passive income or an active income from the short-term rental and the extra cash flow, but now you've got a pipeline of homes that you have available to sell, to cash out, to play that monopoly game that we all grew up playing, where you collect 4 houses and you sell those 4 houses, and then you trade those 4 houses up into a big hotel. So that's the dream that I'm living. We're in the position now where one house at a time, we're selling these properties, taking our profits from those properties and moving them into bigger investments, more passive investments, hotel investments, syndications, different things that we can invest in to create that real passive income from those big chunks of back-end cash outs when we sell our houses and we get a $50,000 or $75,000 or $100,000 check. Now that to me is financial freedom. That to me is passive income. Once I can move all of this active income and active profits into some passive investments, that is financial freedom. So investing in short-term rentals is a great way to enjoy a few of these advantages, including the substantial appreciation.